When the US was first founded, you had what were called slave states and free states. Most of the free states were in the north, while most of the slave states were in the south. This was because of how different each state's economy was. Southern states' economies were largely based on plantations that relied heavily on slaves, while the north was heavily industrialized and didn't rely on slaves. When the US admitted new states to the Union, each new state could opt to be a free state or a slave state. As the US admitted more states to the Union, there was a balancing act to ensure that there were an equal amount of slave states and free states. After several events of abolitionists clashing with anti-abolitionists, tensions only continued to rise. Abraham Lincoln being elected into office in 1860 was the final straw for the South, so they seceded from the Union and they formed the Confederate States of America. This put America into a war that lasted just shy of 4 years. The Reconstruction Amendments were 3 amendments that were a result of the Civil War meant to end slavery, provide equal rights, and voting rights to African Americans. The 13th Amendment bans slavery with the exception if someone is convicted of a crime. It was proposed by Congress after fears that the Emancipation Proclamation would not be enough. The 13th Amendment was ratified on December 6, 1865. Though the 13th Amendment banned slavery, this didn't guarantee rights to former slaves, so that's where the 14th and 15th Amendment come in. The 14th Amendment forces all government officials to respect equal rights of African Americans and former slaves. The 14th Amendment also banned anyone who rebelled against the United States from being elected to political office or joining the military unless they were removed of such a disability by 2/3 vote of both houses of Congress. The 14th Amendment was ratified on July 9, 1868. The 15th Amendment granted voting rights to people regardless of skin color, thus allowing African Americans the right to vote. This amendment was put forth partly because of how the South was likely to have more seats in Congress thanks to the 3/5 compromise no longer in effect. The 15th Amendment was ratified on February 3, 1870. Although these amendments were ratified in the late 1800s, African Americans did not enjoy equal rights granted by these amendments. Poor interpretations by the Supreme Court, along with things such as Jim Crow laws, made it next to impossible for a lot of African Americans to vote, especially in the South. It would not be until another 100 years before the rights of the 14th and 15th Amendments would start to be enforced. Political Minute out.